Hello, today is Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. My name is Bradley Lopez. I'm interviewing Diana Lopez for the Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. This is part of Voces, the Pandemic Oral History Project in partnership with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know, Ms. Lopez, that this recorded interview will be placed in the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville, and shared with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas of Austin. If there's anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, especially given that your recording may appear online, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting. So I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say, yes, I agree. No, I do not agree after each one. There are 4 questions we need to make sure you agree before we go on. South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville wishes to archive your interview along with any other photographs and other documentation at the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. We will retain copyright of the interview and any other material you donate to the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Do you give us consent to archive your interview and your materials at the Jenigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville?
I agree.
Do you grant South Texas Archives at the Jenigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville copyright over the interview and any material you provide?
I agree.
Do you agree to allow South Texas Archives at the Jenigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville to post the interview on the internet where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes, I agree.
Do you grant South Texas Archives at Jenigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville consent to share your interview and your materials with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusions in the Voices of a Pandemic Oral History Project, which will include posting the interview on the internet?
I agree.
We have many questions in a pre-interview that we have already filled out. We'll use the information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept in a secure Voices server at the University of Texas at Austin. The final sorting of the pre-interview will be at the South Texas Archives at the Jenigan Library at the Texas A&M University, Kingsville. We will have stripped out any contact information for yourself or family members so that will not be part of the public file. Your public file will only be accessible at the Jenigan Library. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in your public file available to researchers at the South Texas Archives at the Jenigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville?
I agree.
On occasion, Voces receives requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone number or your email with journalists?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions here. This is going to be pertaining to COVID-19. Tell me a little bit about your experiences with COVID-19.
It's been an awful year. It's been hard on not only me, but my family. Not only at home, but at work. I am a dyslexia teacher. And when we started with this, we didn't know. We went on spring break, and by the time we knew it, we didn't get to go back. So it was very hard having to deal with getting things ready for the students online, things that we were not used to, trying to teach, and also trying to have the students log in was very, very difficult.
Mhm. How did you first learn about COVID-19? Was it from television, from news outlets, from social media?
It was on the news. It was at school. It was informed by newspaper, by relatives. We heard about it everywhere.
Mhm. What was your initial reaction to the information about COVID-19? How did you feel when it first started coming out?
At the beginning, I really didn't think much about it. I thought that it was something that was gonna be something that was gonna happen quick and just disappear. But as we started hearing the news and not being able to go back to work and not being able to go to the groceries that we as we used to, not being able to go see our relatives, or and having to be using masks and having to be very, very careful using sanitizer, all of those things, that's when I really got to understand that it was very, very serious.
At what point and how did you realize this was serious, or do you not think it's that serious?
Yes, when we heard about so many people that were getting sick, dying from this, that's when I thought that, and believed that this was something that we needed to be very careful, and it was something serious.
Um, Talking about the daily impacts, how has COVID-19 impacted your children?
My children, I have two kids, and both of them were not kids anymore. They're adults. They're already in college, and both of them had to go through changes also. They had to go through having to deal with their learning through devices, having to learn how to be able to cope with the idea that you would not be able to be in person and be able to socialize with friends. And yes, it was a very hard thing for them too.
How has COVID-19 affected family members living inside of the US?
Family members were also dealing with the same situation, that we would not be able to see each other, not only here, but relatives that were out of state that would not be able to come over and see each other, and would not be able to socialize, would not be able to um, be celebrate special events, be able to give each other a hug. So it was very, very hard,
Mhm.
and it's still very hard.
How has COVID-19 affected your neighbors? If you
I
have
guess it affected everybody around, not only as family members, but people around you in our neighborhood. We
any.
were not able to get near each other. We would have to wave at each other. We would not be able to socialize. We would go out to walk or see people on a bike. They would always have their mask on. We would not be able to, we were even scared to be able to walk behind each other because we didn't know how that would really affect us. So there's different things around our neighborhood that really changed, and it really affected.
During COVID-19, how were you affected with having to gather with family, friends, or just neighbors?
During all of this time, we have not been able to celebrate special events. We have not been able to go see our relatives that got sick. We were not there when they passed away. It's been very hard that, we didn't get to see those people that were in the hospital, and we couldn't be there for their final words.
Mhm. Who, during your COVID-19 pandemic, who have you interacted with?
With my husband, with my kids, and that's it. Through the phone with my relatives, but that's about it.
Being a school teacher, I know they swap almost all of their stuff into online and social distance learning. How has those interactions gone with the kids?
It has been a very sad situation because at the beginning we were just doing everything online, and they would see each other online, but it was not the same thing because we were there to learn and we were there to do what we had to do, but not socialize. But then after that, we started going back to school. on rotations, the students were not able to be close to each other. They were not there to socialize. They were there to do what we had to do, which is learn and me teach. Right now, we're in the same situation where more students are coming in, but we're in the same situation where the students have to be apart from each other. They have to be very aware of what they're doing, be sanitizing, be not being able to eat in the cafeteria where they would be able to socialize. Now they're eating in the classrooms and apart from each other, and teachers making sure that they're not getting close to each other.
Has your family changed what you take with you when you leave your home into the outside?
Yes, because we cannot be leaving the house without a mask. We have to make sure that we have sanitizers with us all the time. We are not able to leave to certain places and be there close to other people. And yes, things have changed.
Talking about masks, what are your personal opinions about the masks?
I think it's something that has to be done. That is something that is effective, that we know that we are advised to wear them when we go out. We have to be with a mask, different places, restaurants, stores, every location has their own rules, and we have to be following those rules.
How has COVID-19 changed the way that either you or your community has been receiving education?
Well, it has changed a lot because now we are not able to help. Like for me, I can't be able to help the student with their pencil, to be able to hold the pencil the right way, which I would usually do. And we cannot be very close to the students. We cannot be able to have small groups and be able to learn that way within a space where we usually would sit and everybody was close to each other. Now it's far away and everybody is on a device.
As a teacher, what are the different resources that you have been having to help your children with to help conquer this pandemic?
We have been having to do everything on Google Classroom, where we have to be having to prepare slides of everything that we are teaching. The students are able to see it. The students are able to do their work through Jamboard, through little things like Per Deck, where students are able to manipulate and be able to do their work through that.
Mm-hmm. How has the school helped the community during the COVID-19?
The school has provided devices for each student, making sure that they have internet, making sure that they have those hotspots, making sure that they had the supplies that they needed, making sure that those students were fed because they provide food for them. The parents can go and pick up the food at the schools. They can take home food after school and come on for their weekends, also making sure that they're fed.
As a teacher, how has your education training wise, has that been interrupted by COVID-19?
It's been very hard because I have always been able to teach using material that I have at school that is visual to them, that it's face to face, and now everything is very different because now we have to do everything through a device, and we have to be wearing a mask, which is very hard for me because I have to be teaching the sounds and the formation of my mouth, and the students are not able to see me. So yes, it's been very difficult.
What kind of concerns or questions about healthcare have emerged as a result of COVID-19? Have you changed the way you're getting healthcare? Any mental health impacts or challenges?
I actually think that being aware of my surroundings and being able to take care of myself by taking vitamins and being able to make sure that I always have my mask on, that I am able to think positive and not be thinking that I would be in a way that I couldn't handle the situation, but be very positive about it.
Has COVID-19 made you question the access to healthcare?
No, I think that back then we thought, well, it's very hard for us to go into a clinic to be checked because we thought that we could be exposed to COVID. We couldn't go into hospitals, but the doctors made it easily available that we could have it through via phone or through Zoom and have communication with our own doctors.
And how about getting the COVID vaccine? Did you encounter any issues with it? How did you feel getting the first one and the second one?
It took a while for us to be able to have it because it started with, of course, the adults of older age. But as soon as we were able to be available for us, I took it, and I was kind of scared at the beginning, not knowing what my side effects would be. But after the first one, I felt more comfortable. And the second one, I felt a little bit sick, but it wasn't that bad. So I think that it's something that everybody should consider.
How do you believe politics affected COVID? How COVID has been handled?
I think that that everything was handled the right way, where they would give us advice of how to manage ourselves and how to be able to take care of ourselves and be responsible of wearing our masks, and how they dealt with COVID vaccine, how it was supposed to be handled at the beginning, with starting with the adults, and then being able to take it at the time that we were supposed to take it.
How has COVID affected politics in your area?
I actually don't think it has affected it. I think they have been doing a good job by offering, everything to everybody. It's available. It's just a matter of having patience and being able to get it.
As a teacher, have you experienced any sort of impacts from your work, such as losing work or received a pay cut or furloughed or any kind of thing like that?
I actually at the beginning of the pandemic, after spring break, when we were not able to go back, and then we finished a year, and then I started summer school. They actually did pay a good amount to teachers to experience our teaching mode in a different way, where we were supposed to have everything online. I think we got offered a good amount of money, and right now our positions were still available, and we are in the right place, and with the same amount of pay.
Do you have any concerns about finances due to COVID-19?
I think with the help that with our stimulus checks and all of the help that has been offered, a lot of people, not only me, but other people, have been having a lot of support, and not only with money, but also with food and other areas where they're getting help.
Has COVID impacted your ability to financially contribute to your family, such as sending money to family members that don't live with you, or having to help provide for something else?
I think that I was able to help not only my family, but also other family members that are not living with me, and being able to provide for them and help them with whatever I needed to, or they needed.
Um, how, if at all, the current social movements in conjunction with COVID-19 impacted your daily life, such as people not wanting to wear masks or wanting to wear different masks?
Sometimes it's very hard to see that some people do not accept the idea that we still have to be taking care of ourselves by wearing a mask, by sanitizing, by keeping our distance. And yes, it's hard to see people that don't think that it's something serious and that we still have to be serious about it. And yes, it gets you upset sometimes, but sometimes you just have to take care of yourself by doing it yourself, by keeping the distance, by wearing your mask and sanitizing, and trying to talk to those people that are close to us that do not think that it's it's the right thing to do, and just try to convince them. But I guess that's something that is happening everywhere.
As an elementary educator, how have the students reacted to COVID-19?
I think I was very surprised when I went back to school and started my rotations, when I saw that the students really took it serious and actually were keeping their distance, and they were using their mask, and they were not playing around with it. They were not taking it off. They were actually very well trained, I guess, by their parents. And of course, the people there at our school at the beginning when we started having them come in little by little.
How have the teachers impacted the way that the students see COVID-19?
They or we are actually always talking to them about their social distance, about wearing their mask, modeling by being there all the time with a mask, sanitizing at all times, cleaning the desk, and they see us doing all of these things, so they actually are keeping up with us.
How do the parents feel for those few kids that are going to in-person school? How do they feel about their kids going into school?
I think they felt very comfortable, the ones that started going, because they saw that we were doing okay, that we were doing following the guidance that they were offering us, that we had to follow all those things, and they saw that we were, and the kids are going back home safe.
What are the different lessons you might say we learned from this pandemic?
I think the biggest lesson would be to that we are not aware of what is coming. Never are we able to predict what's going to happen, and that's one of the things that I thought that we would never go through this. And look, so I think it's like we're ready for anything that might happen because we have gone through it already.
How have teachers reacted to the students coming back to school?
At the beginning, we were scared that the students would be feeling sick, or that we would get sick too, and we were very scared about that. But once we started, and we started getting all these students and more teachers coming in, we felt more comfortable, because we saw that that we were all in this together, that we were taking care of ourselves and following all the guidances. We were doing good. We
Mhm.
are doing good.
And the administrators, how have they tried to help the teachers out during
They have
COVID?
provided with things that we need in the classroom, sanitizers, our little our desk where we have our little plastic compartments, our devices are being cleaned,
Mhm.
doors. The students are eating in the room so that they won't be exposed to the outside. The doors are open. They're making sure that all of us are following our rules, and they're there to support us.
During the height of, or during the peaks of the COVID-19, students were not allowed into the classrooms. Am I correct?
During the peak,
Yeah.
no, we were not able to go back after spring break, which was March the 12th.
Mhm.
We had a whole week, and then they told us we couldn't go back, so none of the students were able to go back. The teachers had to go in pairs to go and prepare material that the students needed. The parents were able to go pick up,
Mhm.
but were not able to go inside the school.
how were the students' mental health? I know they're younger kids because you teach at an elementary school. How would their mental health be during this peak that they hadn't seen their fellow classmates for almost a year? How were their mental health?
I actually think that they were doing okay. I think that it's because we would see each other before we went on rotations. We would see each other through our devices. So they were there, they saw each other, but it was exciting to see how they reacted when they saw each other at school.
Did you encounter any problems when you were having to teach them online, such as students not wanting to participate, or any different students that really didn't take their education too serious once they found out that they were going to be online?
Yes, we did. And we are still doing, we are still going through that. Students at the beginning, they felt that they could be not logging in, students not being focused, students that thought that it was something that they didn't have to do. Right now, we're still having some of those problems, but not as much. Yes, of course, we know the students have stayed behind. It's not the same thing as being in person, face to face. The students have been not aware. They're not aware that it is important to continue, and they think that it's something that can wait until next year.
Okay, Ms. Lopez, is there anything else you would like to include with this interview? Do you have any information you'd like to share with me about how COVID-19 has affected you or your students?
I feel that it's something that we went through, and I think we actually did a good job. I mean, I think that we quickly learned what we had to learn, and we were wanting to do it. And I think that it's something that I thought that it was going to be very, very difficult, but I think that we did a good job.
Mhm. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for letting me being able to have the opportunity to record you. I hope you have a good day.
You too. Thank you.